Well, today was officially day 2 of the registration weekend, and the IEC has recorded an extra 29,305 voters. This is today in addition to the 598,000 who registered on day 1. 9 stations did not open today due to service delivery protests. So we're joined now by Mosotho Moepe, who's from the Independent Electoral Commission, just to give us insight into the turnout during voter registration weekend. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Dr. Moepe. Let's talk a little bit about how exactly you believe that the 2 days of the voter registration weekend actually went along in light of the technical difficulties that were reported yesterday, including the issues with the VMDs as well. Did we manage to salvage some of that was lost time yesterday into today's voter registration?
Yes, and good evening, Faith, to you and to your viewers. We had a very good day today. In fact, truth be told, yesterday wasn't too bad. We had new equipment. It was used for the first time. In its current configuration, it's very different from the one we had previously. And one appreciates that when you have you are using such equipment on a scale that we used it yesterday, problems would arise. And they did arise, for which we are not proud, but we took care. We worked overnight. We had no problems today. We made up for all of the challenges we had, I would say, in that we did not have any glitches today. Work continued as we had anticipated it would. We have, in fact, seen a busier day today than we had seen yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of registrations, if you have to do an account of the past 2 days, how many, including the online registrations, how many registrations did we witness this past weekend?
We will know those numbers, and I'm sure we will release them tomorrow. As I speak to you, our servers are buzzing. The figures are coming in. We are checking them against the population register, updating voters' addresses, and so on and so forth. And I think by no later than tomorrow, we should be able to address South Africa and say these are the numbers as we have them right now.
Yeah, and talk to us a little bit about online registrations. That can still continue until when?
Online registrations will only stop for these elections at midnight tomorrow.
Okay. And in terms of just the 9 stations that did not open up because of the protest action against service delivery that were continuing, there was an incident also that happened just outside of Pietermaritzburg today where ANC members are alleged to have blocked Julius Malema from the EFF from campaigning. In such instances, and from what we've heard, even with the IEC during yesterday's media briefing, you were working hand in hand with the SAPS to ensure that such situations are intervened and do not happen again. So then I must ask around how this relationship indeed between the SAPS as well as the IEC is faring, especially in light of even reports of the likes of the EFF being blocked from campaigning, where even I believe that even a gate was broken. And on the other side of it, when it comes to just ensuring that these 9 stations do not get, contravened, or in this case it happened because of service delivery protests. Do you guys have a good relationship with the SAPS, or did that relationship actually work this past weekend?
We do have an ongoing and working relationship with the police, amongst others, with political parties as well, with civil society organizations. To the extent that challenges may have happened, and I believe they have, we will have to look at those instances and have to debrief to see how best we deal with them. But it is important to point out that our focus today was on ensuring, or throughout this weekend, was on ensuring that voters who intend updating their details on the voters roll, or those who are registering for the first time, actually get to do so without any pain. Where criminality
Yeah, but just to interject there, Mosotho, just to interject there, you're saying that the intention was for voters to register without any issues, but when 9 of those voter registration sites have to be closed because of service delivery protests, it completely contravenes the very same intent that you've got. So again, it raises the question around, when you're saying you're going to deal with such instances, how are you going to deal with them effectively? Because this is just registration. You can imagine what's going to happen when it's the local government elections if temperatures are so high. 9 is I'm sure it's 9 too much in your books as the IEC.
Absolutely. Faith, I think it's important to point out that all of the incidents that have happened in communities had absolutely little or nothing to do with our work. They had other things to deal with. And in that instance, we have to report criminality to the police and seek and enlist their assistance. We must also say that in comparison to where we have been in the past, this weekend had seen some of the least amount of disruptions we had. I'm not saying that we should, this is okay. 9 is 9 too many. We should not have them.
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of just the way forward now, and how do you best innovate? It's been the ongoing conversation around how we really need to look at even our electoral system, just so that we can take into account that we know this is not going to be the last time that we're facing a pandemic. It's not going to be the last time that we're facing some kind of hampering, which means that innovation for IR needs to stop becoming a top-of-mind agenda. From what you've gathered this past weekend, where are those gaps that you're witnessing, where it could be tightened up by the use of technology?
Well, we have taken a step in the right direction in this elections, in that registration is now paperless, and it can be done without even coming to our station. We just need to take the next steps. You would recall that we had gone to Parliament earlier with the Electoral Laws Amendment Bill, where we wanted to pilot electronic voting even in these elections. Regrettably, that pilot was not approved. We will do it at a point, but I do think that the step we have taken with registration is a step that is taking this nation and ourselves into a positive direction and strengthens us going forward.
Yeah, just a quick reminder, why wasn't it approved, the pilot? Because if you're coming on board as the IEC and you say, guys, this is what it means for us to innovate, this is what it means for us to be in line with the global community where voting and registration is concerned, how about we jump onto the bandwagon, and they say no? What was the reason for their no?
Well, there's always concern about, we're a country of unequal treatment and so on and so forth. And yet the point perhaps was lost in that we weren't saying that this would count. We were saying it would provide an opportunity to begin to look at parallel systems and see if they give us a same result on a limited basis.
All right, in that case, we'll leave it there for this evening. Thank you very much for giving us just insights, just in terms of how are we looking where the numbers are concerned. Mosotho, not to, try to swing you a little bit there, but if you had to look at the numbers and give us just an estimate so far, what are we looking like? I know I'm pushing my luck, but come on, you got to give me something this evening. What am I looking like?
You're going to get a good number tomorrow, but I do think that we would have met at least over 1.3 million people over this weekend. But of course, I try to give you something for tonight. Look forward to a firm number tomorrow.
Mosotho Moepa, we'll leave it there from the IEC, just giving us the latest insight in terms of how voter registration weekend fared.